I'm loving the thermostat remote, guys. I keep it up here so that these are pretty close in temperature. 8 degrees outside this morning. Getting ready for work, 5:45. 17 in here, and that's what I have it set to for the diesel heater to come on. So it's keeping it nice and warm in here. Are you talking to me? Yeah? Well, what's that mean? Okay, thanks. I'll just cut this off and put it on a keychain. How about that? Good luck charm? Whew, get the heat cranking. It's a cold one this morning. Here we go.
Many hours later.
What are you guys doing here? What am I doing here? Fair question. I'm on lunch break at work. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Also, I wanted to show you my camper van that I got for $1,500. I left it running. Let me shut it off. There we go. There we go. If you didn't know, now you know. Got this van in May? 1989 Dodge Ram 250 camper van with a 318 engine. And as you can tell, it's in some pretty good shape. It's very bright out here. 18.8 feet long, 9.8 feet high to the top of the AC unit. It's in pretty good shape. There's no real rust other than a couple of little rust bubbles under the paint in different places. A little bit here above these back doors. Also on the inside of this door. Down below here. Other than that, not bad. For an antique, not bad. Odometer. Not sure if you can see that. 57,644. 57,644 kilometers. Really next to nothing. Now I think that is the true mileage. The reason I don't really know is that there are only 5 digits where the odometer is. So once it gets to 99999, it would roll back over to 0. Now since this was mostly used as a summer rig, I have to think that that is the true mileage. It had 52,000 on it when I got it several months ago. I've taken it camping a few different times. Yeah, I'm sure you're wondering by now why I have this, why I got this. I actually wasn't in the market for a camper van. I was not looking. As you guys know, I have my box truck. It has been a goal and a dream of mine to build that thing out and have it be a camper on wheels. Camper on wheels? Most campers are on wheels. Home on wheels, there we go. But this camper van sort of kind of just fell into my lap. Little backstory, a father-like figure to a friend of mine passed away in October of last year, October 2024. This was his camper van. I'd always comment about this camper van to my friend, and I just used to always talk about how cool it was, and I just liked seeing it out on the road, you know? Never did I think I would end up with it, though. I never ever thought that. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. When the previous owner of this van had passed away, his wife was trying to, you know, sort through some things and decide what she's keeping and get rid of things. So my friend was helping her out with all of these things, and he called me one day on the phone last November, I'm gonna say late November, and he just randomly asked me if I had $1,500. Not knowing why he was asking, I said, yeah. And he said, do you want the camper van? So I was like, for $1,500? And he said, yeah, she's selling it cheap to a friend. And my response was, okay, well, when can we take it for a drive? I just want to make sure it's, you know, it's going to run. And I knew it would be a project, but I didn't want like a that big of a project, you know, something that wasn't running, right? Anyway, several weeks went by. I showed up. He had to give it a boost because this thing was sitting for, I'm going to say, close to a year, if not a year. Gave the battery a boost and it fired right up. It was running when I got there. We took it for a drive down the road. He hopped out. I hopped in the driver's seat. We didn't go far. We had to boot it back because we realized the gas was very low. But I knew enough that it drove, the brakes worked, it was fairly smooth. I mean, for a larger rig, like, I had no reason to not buy a fully functional camper van that ran and drove for $1,500. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I thought that was a steal of a deal. To put this in perspective, I bought my 150cc scooter, you know, the two-wheeled machine, for $1,200 about 7 years ago. So I could not say no to a $1,500 camper van, which, by the way, I can stand in. My head doesn't even touch the AC unit. I'm 5'9", so I can stand in here. I'm not crouched over. Yeah, definitely a plus. The interior of the cab, it's pretty basic. This is all original. I'm going to keep the cab area original. There's no problems up here. I mean, you know, it's dated, of course. It's from 1989, you guys. Got a little storage dash here. An old school, hang on. Sorry, this is an old school cassette tape. I don't know if I have any of those kicking around, but it does work. I listen to the radio. I haven't tried the cassette thing. Not sure what he had going on here. I think this takes a battery and he just had this as kind of a clock. Little hook here. Oh my gosh, it's magnetic. I didn't even know that. I thought it was stuck there. That must be what this one's magnetic too. Nope, that one's stuck there. Okay. So, yeah, pretty basic. Got the rubber mat flooring. Sand from going to the beach the other day. No idea what the left and right mirrors button is for. Maybe somebody can tell me. Overdrive. I mean, I remember this stuff from one of my older vehicles. My very first car was a 1989 Pontiac Grand Am 4-door. Yeah, it was a classic, you guys. So headlights. Also, the previous owner had installed a backup camera, so that's really handy. And I like that he wired it in so that when the lights are on, the backup camera's on. A little bit of a chilly one this morning, so I had that on high, and I don't know, some like debris and leaf matter was coming out of the vents at me there. Of course, we got the classic doghouse here, so you know, we got the clips, and under here there's more clips. I can't get at it, but anyway, basically this whole cover comes off and your engine is right here. So this thing can get quite warm if you've been driving for a little. Spot to put your drinks. This is actually where I keep my little leveler. I am not level right now, as you can tell. I am on a major slant. I just parked here for now. But my favorite thing in the cab area is this, the flamethrower. When you're going down the highway and you need to kick in the 4 barrels, I'm just kidding, but it's kind of funny. So by now, I know you might be thinking, okay, she paid $1,500 for this van. How much money did she put into it to make it roadworthy? I hear you, because I had that question too. Now, I don't want to jinx myself, but every time I put the key in the ignition and turn it, it fires on. I haven't had an issue. It's been reliable with starting for me. Haven't had an issue yet. Now, I say yet because every vehicle will have issues at one point or another, and this is a 36-year-old vehicle. I'm bad at math. So far, so good with reliability. I know those 318s are pretty reliable engines. As far as what I put into it, this thing had an expired inspection sticker. So obviously I knew there were a few things I needed to do to it to get it inspected, to get it safetied. So the first thing I had to do was put new tires on it. Now, the ones that were on here were pretty weather cracked, scalloped. So I went and got these all-terrain tires, brand new. By the way, how do you like my Baby Moon hubcaps? Got those on Amazon. I love them because they're It just kind of gives it the vintage look, you know? New tires was one. Brand new windshield wipers was the other thing. I knew it needed windshield wipers, so I went and picked out new windshield wipers. However, this van came with a bunch of stuff already in it. And turns out after the fact that there were brand new wiper blades in here. I hadn't found them on time, but so now I have a spare set. Yeah, what else did it need? Oh, brakes, calipers, and a brake light switch. So those were the things that it needed that I knew of to be safety inspected. I got that stuff done by a very fair mechanic, and in total for all of those things it cost me around $1,000, maybe a little more. So really you could say this is like a $2,500 van, but still a very good price for a fully functional camper van. It is old, yes. I just couldn't say no to the price, you guys. $1,500? Would you say no to a fully functioning camper van for $1,500? I mean, come on. Let me know in the comments below. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. This thing even has air conditioning, you guys. It's the natural air conditioning, you know, the vent windows, but I mean, classic. Classic. Those are definitely known to leak, and when I'm washing the van, that one does a little bit. Okay. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's a camper van from 1989, and while it's in very good condition, very good shape, obviously not everything's going to be perfect. But let me tell you, I was very surprised to find out that the air conditioning unit, I think the original air conditioning unit, if I'm not mistaken, it works, and it blows ice cold. Holy shoot. That's fan only, I think. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Hear that power draw? The freaking AC works. What? This old rig has a working AC. I was really expecting it to not work, but no, it works. What the heck? I was very happy and surprised to find that AC working once I got back to the Gypsy Den and plugged everything into shore power and tried it all out. Very happy with that. Also, the AC cover, I painted that. You know, they get like a gross, ugly yellow color. I'm going with satin heirloom white Rust-Oleum, because if you go too white, your ceiling looks yellow. So this is the trick. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of giving you guys a tour now, but be warned, this is not Instagram worthy, okay? This is not a fancy space. I'm still kind of working away at it when I have time, which is barely ever. And I just started ripping the place apart. There was a water tank under the bed. I got rid of that. I mean, this van doesn't have a shower, so I didn't feel the need to have a big tank under the bed on the floor. Talk about that a little later, but I started really digging into things, and then I made a discovery I didn't really want to make. Over here, yes, I got stuff loaded on this shelf, just because work in progress, guys. We have a bathroom in here, right? Portable toilet in here. I'm just using Reflectix in the window because I had curtains and they kind of drooped down and took up more space. I put a little piece of turf that I had left over from the catio on the floor because, well, I ripped out the toilet and the stand that the toilet was on and everything that was laying under the toilet. There was a board here against the wall that was like completely wet and rotted, so I chipped away at that. Pulled the carpet up. Pretty wet on the floor. Yeah. Buy an old camper, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Yeah, I removed the old portable toilet that was in there, and it still had water in it, which was left from all winter. There were water jugs in here left from all winter. I started peeling up the carpet because the floor was wet. Either the water had leaked onto the floor, or there was a leak somewhere at the back end. I ended up sealing the back corner of the high top, but I think the leak, from what I can tell, because when I washed this van last, it seems to be coming in through the back doors. Now, all summer we basically had no rain, so I had that going for me. I didn't have to worry about the floor at the back here getting overly wet. When it rains again, it will, so that is something that I will have to look into a little bit more. I don't know if it's the rubber around the doors or what it is. That started me ripping out the carpet, which I wanted to do anyway. And once I got rid of the carpet, I feel like all the funky smells in here disappeared, and that was nice. So as you can see, no carpet on the floors. We're back to plywood. Also, this is just a plywood bed that I put together myself when I was camping. I just had to do it really quickly. I put some posts that I had left over. I cut those to about 15 inches or so. Got some self-inflating camping pads here and a 4-inch mattress off of Amazon, which is actually extremely comfortable. Gel and foam. It's not like screwed down to the floor or anything. I can actually pick it up, turn it sideways, and move it out of here if I want to. So that's kind of nice. But the floor, once I figure out the leak situation and get that sorted, obviously I'll be replacing part of the back end of the floor back here. Probably a little difficult to see because I've got my tools and stuff back here. Yeah, you can see where the wood has definitely been water damaged. And these holes are from the seats and seat belts that I took out of here, so obviously I don't want holes in the... I'm sure mice could probably get through those, by the way. Those little buggers can find their way through anything that's like the size of a dime. So that's the situation on that. This is just the reverse camera wiring here covered, but that's why we've got this turf covering up this corner here was the worst. The leak that I've noticed from washing the van actually comes here, right in through here. This is where it's the worst. So I'm going to be pulling this panel off at least to that wall up there. Maybe one of these days I'll have time to figure out where the leak is coming from and get that sorted and fixed. Before I replace this part of the floor and put some type of like vinyl down, I don't want to go ahead and do all that without taking care of the leak issue first, because that wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, as you can see, I was ripping away at this corner, so it looks in pretty bad shape right now. But these do just pop off, and this is like a thin plywood with material. So that's cool. I'm happy about that. It has a bathroom at least, a place to go. And I do like that it's in a little separate area here. If you're wondering why it's got kind of 2 doors, it's because when the bed is here, this will only open to here, but this you can open all the way. So that's why there's kind of 2 doors there. One other little modification I did was just change out all the lights to new RV LED lights. There's that one, the one in the bathroom, one here. And the very last one that I did was one right here. Also, the curtains. This van came with curtains on every single window. I ended up stripping all of them off. I washed them and then I put them back on, but because I ruined the previous wire thing that they were connected to, I just went to the dollar store, got some of this, and kind of put them on there as tight as I can. Except these have their own actual curtain rod. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to keep the curtains in here. I actually kind of like Reflectix better. I only have Reflectix on this side, on these 2 windows, the one in the bathroom and this cabinet. This is open, kind of a little closet area, which, as you can see, I have nothing in it. Yeah, there was a whole blue curtain in behind here, and I just thought it was easier and better to stick Reflectix in there. I spray painted the other side black so that you couldn't see the shiny Reflectix through the window. All of these windows are very dark tinted, by the way. Yeah, these are all like a very, very dark tint. Even up here. The front windows and the windshield aren't. However, at night when the lights are on in here without the curtains, you can definitely see through in there. So yeah, the Reflectix in behind this cabinet here, I just kind of have Velcroed in place. And I'm considering doing that to all of the windows maybe, because it's just way less maintenance. I actually, when I got this camper, it had a whole cabinet system here, but it was taking up that entire door. And I prefer to have it open. I'm on an angle, so that flew. Right now, I just got some things here, leveling blocks. I just kind of throw those wherever, and a power station, because that's what I've been using to run Starlink if I go camping. When I first got this van, there's a lot going on in here still. This is stuff that came with the van, but I have one of my gel batteries in here. The previous owner actually had several car batteries. There was another shelf in here, and they were all stacked and hooked up together. Reason being, they were hooked up to the vehicle battery. That brings me to this. This right now is set to off, but if I turned it to on and had that other battery back there connected to it, it would charge it. So that's what he had going on. He had multiple car batteries and an inverter, and that's what he was using for power. So when he drove, he just flicked this to on so it would charge the other batteries up at the same time. So, pretty basic in here. Obviously the engine's in there under where the doghouse is in the cab, but pretty basic indeed. Missing the shroud on the fan. Not sure if that's uber important, but didn't need it for safety inspection anyway. So here's the battery, and as you can see, he's got wires connected, this green one and this black one here, and those run inside. This mess here, yeah, those wires run in here, and eventually I'll get them connected up to my gel battery here, and maybe even a second one with an inverter, but I just haven't gotten there yet. The terminal ends on the cables are just not what I need. Anyway, that's an eventual project, maybe. I mean, I think a power station in here is just kind of a simple way of doing things, but since this is all done and wired, I mean, I could eventually swap that out and hook it up to my gel batteries. Let's talk about this area. Ramsey's bed is still there from the last time we went camping. The fridge doesn't work. I'll move my propane stove here. There is a propane stove, or was. I started ripping it apart. I took the part with the element, is that what it's called, and the buttons. I took all that out of here because I plan on getting rid of this. That's the furnace, the propane furnace. I think that also worked, but again, I started ripping that apart. I want this whole thing gone. Now this thing has a propane tank underneath, and it has propane in it. However, the tank is really old. If it needed a refill, I can't see anyone filling it because it's just so old. I can imagine they would just turn me away and say, no, we're not touching that. For that reason, I feel like I'd love to just get rid of this. Having the sink is nice, but I got rid of the water tank. All I really need is, I got this jug of water here. All I really need is a sink, eventually a small electric fridge, and I've already got a 2-burner, which is what this is. I completely unhooked the propane from any of these appliances. So yeah, I want to get rid of this. Also, there is still some carpet underneath of it that I couldn't rip up until I get rid of this. Windows, the back two open, they just kind of like vent open, and there are screens on those two. Same thing here, although it's covered up with the curtain, but yeah, I just got these little handy screens that you can actually zip this up and push open. Let me try to do this one-handed. Push open the window, there we go. So it just allows a little bit of ventilation in here. Same exact thing with this window up here, although it's in behind this little counter space. But yeah, you can open up these two and that will vent open. This one here, it just slides, and then you've got a screen here for this top window. And as you can see, I've made this top little shelf here my temporary junk drawer. I've just been throwing things there. What else did I do in here? Completely upholstery cleaned everything that I could upholstery clean. Obviously the carpet's gone now, but the seats the little wall panels, because those are kind of carpety, and this thing right here. I'm not a fan of this, but I'm just gonna leave it. Sorry, the lighting was bad. This is the carpeted thing I was talking about. It really doesn't look like it was cleaned in this video, but it was. I upholstery cleaned it. And same with the wall panels on all the doors. This is like a carpeted thing. Eventually, because these do pop out as well, eventually I might pop those out and put plywood panels, painted plywood panels or something here, and then I can also use it to screw things to it, like a shelving or, you know, garbage can or something. Seats, both of them swivel, so you can turn them around. I haven't really done the driver's seat because turning it around, you're just facing that shelf, so, but I've definitely done it with this. And I think the last thing to show you is just this is like a bunk area, and apparently you're supposed to be able to grab it and pull it out and make like a wider bed up there, but since I have gotten it, I haven't been able to move it. It's like completely seized or stuck there. Right now I've just been using it as storage. I got some leftover curtains and stuff. Got a curtain that goes all across the windshield, which I love. It's fantastic for sleeping and camping. I can't imagine anyone would ever want to sleep up in that bunk. It's just too tight. But yeah, that's going to be storage, and right now it is storage. I think that's it. Oh, I put strip lighting all along this stuff here. Set that on the bed for now, because I know it's going to go flying when I go to drive. Same with this water jug. Put that right in there. Yeah, I think that's going to be it, guys. I just wanted to show you a little outside and inside tour of the camper van. You may have seen a video previous where I took Ramsey camping in it, but I just didn't get to give you somewhat of a tour yet. So that's it. That is the 1989 Dodge Ram 250 camper van. It is a work in progress. It is a project, and I have no shortage of those, as you know. But like I said, how could I say no? $1,500. I mean, come on. Since I am on my lunch break, I do have to scoot back to work. I don't want to, but gotta bring home the bacon, you know? DNR is rolling up on me in here. Good, how are you?
Good. Checking out what usually no cars are up here. So
I know, there was actually some cars down there. I'm just on my lunch break just chilling, but I'm not doing anything illegal or crazy or jumping, though I do see people dump trash here sometimes.
No worries.
Yeah.
Where you work?
This is a very cool camper.
It's old. It's a 1989. Wow. Yeah. Got a couple more months, I guess, before winter to hang out in it. But
Cool.
Yeah.
It's in pretty good shape.
yeah, not bad. Couple rough spots in different places, but yeah. Yeah.
Well, take it easy.
Yeah, you too. Have a good one. Well, that wasn't DNR. That was the police. I don't know if you caught any of that conversation, but I think they were just wondering why I was parked up here. Because I'm just kind of in a random gravel lot, and someone could have even reported me saying that there was a random camper van up here. I get it. If you're nice to them, they're usually nice to you. Be cooperative. I had nothing to hide. I wasn't up here doing anything illegal. I don't know, maybe they thought I was living here in the van and just, you know. Anyway, they were super nice. I just took a look at the time, and I do have to get back to work, so I'm gonna scoot and go do that. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the camper van. Did I get a good deal? Do I have too many projects on the go? I couldn't say no, you guys. No harm, no foul. $1,500. I mean, come on. It can sit in my driveway for that. I mean. Also, I'm not getting rid of the box truck. That is still my plan, my goal, my dream. I can have 2 rigs, right? I mean, this can be like a local adventure rig. It's, you know, and box truck I can use for maybe like longer treks, right? There's no rule about how many rigs you can have, I don't think. Insurance is still pretty cheap for me, if you're wondering. 4 vehicles I have, my car, my scooter, the box truck, and the van. My insurance is still really good, so I can't complain. Okay, for real, I gotta get back to work. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one, where we go camping with Ramsey, maybe. All right, bye. Probably don't need the heat on anymore. Nope. Well, I was about to give you guys some cool shots of me driving away in the van, but the cops are still sitting down there, so I don't know if they're gonna want to talk to me when I leave, or they're just watching to make sure that I leave. But yeah, they are definitely sitting there waiting.